The Ninth Fleet emerged from the Vega system, changed not physically, but in ways that would define humanity's future in the stars. Ships that had vanished and returned were subtly altered, shimmering faintly with energy patterns that mirrored the intelligence they had encountered. Crew members carried with them a new understanding. Courage, intelligence, creativity, and empathy were their greatest tools, capable of facing even the most incomprehensible forces in the universe. On the Dauntless, Admiral Kale walked through the corridors, observing his crew. They moved with quiet determination, repairing systems, analyzing data, and recording everything they had learned. Unlike the fear and panic that had gripped them in Vega, there was now a sense of calm, of accomplishment, and of awe. Humanity had been tested and they had passed. Lieutenant Miratan approached him, holding a datapad filled with the latest readings from Vega. "Admiral, we've encoded everything we observed. The sequences, the patterns, even the energy echoes from the returned ships. This is more knowledge than any fleet has ever brought back." Kale nodded, a small smile on his face. "This is more than data, Mira. This is proof of what humans can achieve. Vega didn't just test us, it taught us. And humanity listened." Dr. Alara Miles' voice came over the communication channel, her tone bright with relief and pride. "Admiral, you and your fleet have demonstrated what I've always believed, that human ingenuity, creativity, and courage are unmatched. We have made first contact with a non-corporeal intelligence, and we have survived to learn from it. This will change everything our understanding of intelligence, the universe, and ourselves." As the fleet began its journey back to Earth, Vega's system receded into the distance. Its stars pulsed faintly, a subtle acknowledgement of humanity's persistence and adaptability. It had tested them, challenged them, and ultimately respected their resolve. The Ninth Fleet had not conquered Vega. They had earned recognition through understanding, innovation, and patience. On board the Valor, engineers examined subtle changes in the ship's energy patterns. Drones that had vanished and returned displayed enhancements in efficiency and design, seemingly influenced by the intelligence they had encountered. Scientists speculated that the intelligence had left a form of communication. It's embedded in these patterns an invitation to continue learning, to grow, and to expand humanity's understanding of the cosmos. Meanwhile, crew members of the fleet shared stories of their experiences. Pilots recounted strange gravitational phenomena. Engineers spoke of energy surges that defied logic, and scientists described glimpses of patterns that seemed almost like thought itself. Despite the danger they had faced, there was excitement in their words. Humanity had touched something beyond comprehension and survived. They had learned that, even in the vastness of space, human courage and creativity could shine. Back on Earth, the Interstellar Council watched the Ninth Fleet's approach with awe. Communications were re-established, and Earth's population prepared to welcome home its explorers. Across the planet, from orbital stations to cities on the surface, people celebrated. The Ninth Fleet had returned not merely as vessels of exploration, but as symbols of human resilience and brilliance. Admiral Kale addressed the fleet one last time before entering Earth's orbit. "We have faced the unknown, tested the limits of our courage, and discovered the true extent of our capabilities. Vega challenged us, and humanity prevailed. We return not only with knowledge, but with proof that intelligence, creativity, and persistence are our greatest strengths," Lieutenant Tan added. "And we return with the lesson that the universe is full of intelligence. Not always visible, not always understandable, but worthy of respect. We must continue to learn, to explore, and to grow." As the Ninth Fleet entered Earth orbit, cheers erupted across the ships. Families and friends awaited their return, and the once absent vessels reappeared. Fully intact and now accompanied by subtle energy patterns, reminiscent of Vega's influence. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge beyond the stars, and had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. The fleet's reception on Earth was unlike anything the planet had ever seen. Massive displays projected the fleet's return across major cities, schools, and public gathering areas. Scientists, politicians, and citizens celebrated, marveling not only at the technology of the fleet, but at the courage of those who had ventured where no human had gone before. Children gazed at the sky, inspired by the explorers who had faced the unknown and returned with stories of wonder and discovery. Dr. Miles, standing on a podium during the reception, addressed the crowd. The Ninth Fleet has shown us that humanity is defined not by fear, but by courage. Not by destruction, but by creativity. Not by power alone, but by understanding. Vega has taught us that intelligence is not always visible. Survival depends on learning, adapting, and respecting the unknown. Today, we celebrate not just the fleet's return, but the strength and brilliance of humanity itself. Admiral Kale watched the celebrations with quiet satisfaction. Humanity had been tested by forces beyond comprehension, forces that could have ended their mission and their lives. Yet they had adapted, innovated, and survived. The Ninth Fleet's success was more than a scientific achievement. It was proof of what humans could accomplish when faced with the unimaginable. Even as celebrations continued, the crew of the fleet began preparations for their next mission. Vega had shown them that the universe was vast, full of unknown intelligence and waiting for discovery. Every new signal, every distant star, every unexplored system was now an opportunity, not just for resources or expansion, but for understanding. Humanity had learned that courage, creativity, and intelligence were their most powerful tools. They were determined to use them wisely. On board the Dauntless, Kale reflected on the journey. "We have returned, but our mission is not complete," he said. Vega was only the beginning. The universe is vast, mysterious, and full of challenges. But now we know that humanity can face them not with weapons alone, but with courage, creativity, and understanding. That is our greatest strength, Lieutenant Tan smiled. And the universe will recognize us, just as Vega did. Humanity is not just a species that survives. We are a species that learns, adapts, and thrives. As Earth rotated beneath them, the Ninth Fleet prepared for docking, their mission complete but their journey far from over. Humanity had faced its greatest interstellar challenge and emerged victorious, not by conquering, but by understanding. Not by dominating, but by learning. And not by fear, but by courage and creativity. The return of the Ninth Fleet became a symbol of hope across the human world. Children dreamed of the stars, scientists of discoveries yet to come, and leaders of the potential for peaceful exploration and understanding. Humanity had demonstrated that even in the face of incomprehensible intelligence, their spirit, creativity, and courage were unmatched. Admiral Kale stepped onto Earth's surface. Feeling the solid ground beneath his feet, he looked up at the sky, at the Vega system far away, and thought of the lessons they had learned. Humanity had survived, yes, but more importantly, they had learned, adapted, and proven that their greatest strength lay not in weapons or technology, but in intelligence, courage, creativity, and the willingness to face the unknown. The Ninth Fleet's journey had begun as a mission of exploration, had become a trial of survival, and concluded as a triumph of humanity itself. Vega would remain in the depths of space, a silent teacher, and the Ninth Fleet would carry its lessons wherever humans ventured next. And so, humanity's explorers looked to the stars once more, not with fear, but with curiosity, courage, and hope. They knew the universe was vast and full of challenges, yet they also knew that the human spirit, guided by intelligence and creativity, would continue to rise, survive, and triumph. The Vega encounter became a defining moment in human history, a testament to what humans could accomplish when they combined courage, ingenuity, and empathy. The Ninth Fleet had gone into the unknown and returned not only with knowledge, but with proof that humanity's greatest qualities were sufficient to face any challenge the universe might present. The fleet, its crew, and the entire human civilization celebrated this triumph. Knowing that the stars were now within reach, humanity had survived the impossible, and in doing so, had shown that their unique qualities, courage, creativity, intelligence, and empathy made them worthy not only to explore the universe, but to thrive in it, and in the hearts of every human on Earth. The message was clear. The universe may be vast and unknown, but humanity's spirit is boundless. The endless black of space stretched out before the aurora, dotted with tiny glimmers of distant stars. Captain Alina Rivas stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the railing as her eyes scanned the main viewport. The hum of the ship's engines filled the quiet room, a steady reminder of the power contained within the sleek human battleship. Nothing on sensors yet, Lieutenant Rami Patel said, glancing at the glowing console before him. Just the usual traffic in this sector. Space is quiet tonight, Lena nodded. Quiet was never truly safe in space. Humanity had spent decades exploring and settling the outer edges of known space. And while most encounters had been peaceful, the universe was unpredictable. The Aurora was designed for defense and deterrence, symbol of human ingenuity and strength. But even a ship of its kind could be outmatched if humans were careless. Keep scanning, she said, and maintain standard patrol formation. We're not here to pick a fight, but we won't run from one either. The bridge crew nodded in unison, their focus sharp. The Aurora's hull shimmered with a faint reflective sheen, its surface designed to withstand energy beams and debris. It was more than a battleship, it was a statement. Humanity had long relied on its wits, courage, and ability to adapt. And the Aurora was a representation of those traits in steel and plasma. Minutes passed in steady routine. Then, without warning, the ship's sensors flared to life, blaring a warning tone. A series of strange readings filled the main monitor. Captain, I'm detecting multiple high-energy signatures approaching from the Theta Quadrant, Rami reported, voice tight with sudden tension. There. Unknown. Elena's eyes narrowed. Unknown meant potentially dangerous. Her mind raced, considering possibilities. Humans had encountered alien life before, but these readings were unlike anything on record. Distance? She asked. Roughly 2.3 million kilometers, Rami replied. Enclosing fast? Their energy signatures suggest a fleet, not a single ship. A murmur spread across the bridge. A fleet. Human ships had faced groups of pirates and hostile factions before, but this level of coordinated energy output suggested an intelligence far beyond anything humans had faced in this sector. Alert all stations, Alina commanded. Full combat readiness, but no aggressive action unless fired upon. I want to know what we're dealing with first. The crew moved with practiced precision. Weapon systems hummed quietly. Shields began to pulse with protective energy, and the communication officer opened all channels for possible transmissions. The Aurora might be alone, but it was far from helpless. As the alien fleet came closer, the bridge displays showed their forms, sleek, angular ships with energy cores glowing in bright alien colors. Their shapes were unlike anything humans had seen before, and yet their movements were coordinated, precise, almost as if each ship were an extension of a single mind. Captain, Rami said. They're scanning us. Lena leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. The scans were invasive, probing every aspect of the Aurora. The humans had encountered curious species before, but the intensity of this scan was unsettling. Open a channel, Alina ordered. Let's see who we're talking to. The communications officer activated the universal translator, interface buzzing as it attempted to decode the alien signals. After a tense moment, a voice emerged, cold, precise, and almost metallic. This is the Xiran High Command. Identify yourselves and state your purpose. Alina straightened, her posture calm and confident. The Xirans. She had read reports in advanced species that had never encountered humans directly, only observed distant signals and transmissions. They considered humans primitive. That would soon change. This is Captain Alina Rivas of the human battleship Aurora, she said. We patrol this sector to ensure the safety of human colonies. We mean no harm unless provoked. State your intentions. There was a pause. On the display, the alien ships adjusted slightly, almost as if sizing up the human ship. The Xirans were a proud species, and they had never expected a response like this. Defiance, courage, humanity. You are advised to surrender your technology and submit to Xiran oversight, the alien voice replied. Resistance will be met with force. Lene's jaw tightened. Humanity had faced threats before, and they had always relied on one principle. No one could underestimate human will. She glanced at her crew, each member poised, ready, and determined. Inform them we do not surrender, she said. And tell them they will need to do better than threats to intimidate humans. A ripple of surprise passed through the bridge. They were waiting for fear. Humans rarely cowered in the face of danger. Shall I prepare defensive maneuvers? Rami asked. Yes, but maintain position, Alina replied. Let them see what they're up against. The Zirans did not wait long. A small probe shot out from the fleet, a dart of energy and light speeding toward the Aurora. The ship's sensors screamed warnings. The crew braced as the probe approached, but the Aurora's advanced maneuvering systems kicked in. With a sudden twist of its massive thrusters, the battleship evaded the attack. The probe slammed into empty space behind them, harmlessly exploding in a shower of light. The crew exhaled. But the moment of triumph was tempered by the realization of the enemy's power. They didn't expect us to dodge that, Lena said quietly. They thought fear would be enough. It won't be. The alien fleet shifted, observing the human ship closely. In their history, no species had shown the combination of courage, intelligence, and firepower that humans displayed. Already, the Zirons were re-evaluating their assumptions. Captain, Mami said. They're adjusting their formation. Looks like they're preparing to engage, Lena nodded. This was the moment. Humanity had been cautious for decades in space, but they had also been ready. The Aurora was built not just for survival, but to send a clear message. Humans were not to be underestimated. All systems ready, she said. Crew, remember your training? We fight smart, we fight together, and we show them what humanity can do. The bridge crew tightened their grips on controls, eyes locked on the approaching fleet. Tension filled the air like static electricity. Outside, the stars seemed to hold their breath as if space itself waited to see the outcome of this historic first contact. The Aurora's engines pulsed, a soft blue glow radiating from its hull. It was more than a battleship, it was a declaration. Humanity had arrived at the edge of the unknown, and they were ready. And then, as the Ziran ships closed in, the first signs of what would become an unforgettable encounter appeared. The humans and aliens were about to test each other's limits, and in that moment, both species would begin to understand that the universe was larger, more dangerous, and more remarkable than they had ever imagined. Alina took a deep breath. Let them come, she said. We are ready. And with that, the Aurora surged forward, her shields humming, her weapons standing by, and her crew united in the quiet certainty that humanity, even in the face of the unknown, would not be broken. The stars streaked past the Aurora as it glided silently through the black void, its hull reflecting faint pinpricks of distant suns. The tension on the bridge was thick, yet controlled. Captain Alina Rivas stood at the center, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the approaching Ziran fleet. Unlike any human fleet, the Zirans moved with eerie precision. Their ships were sleek, angular, and shimmered with a strange metallic glow. Every movement was deliberate, like a single organism spread across thousands of vessels. Captain Lieutenant Rami Patel said. Leaning over his console, they're not just approaching, they're surrounding us. It looks like a coordinated flanking maneuver. Lena studied the hologram. The Zirans clearly believed that their numbers and superior technology could intimidate a single human battleship. But they had yet to realize the full strength of human strategy and adaptability. Divert power to shields and propulsion. She ordered, We need full maneuvering capability if they decide to attack. The crew moved with quiet efficiency. Every hand knew its task. Every eye followed the alien movements. The Aurora's shields pulsed, a protective blue glow expanding across the hull. It was strong. But the Zaren's energy signatures suggested they were capable of breaching even advanced defenses. Then, new signal appeared on the communication channel. The Zirons spoke again, their voice precise, almost mechanical. Humans, submit your vessel and technology. Resistance is futile. Surrender now. Elena's jaw tightened. Humans had never been known to surrender easily. She raised her voice, calm but firm. This is Captain Elena Rivas of the Aurora. We will not surrender. Humanity does not yield to threats. We request peaceful communication, but we are ready to defend ourselves. A pause followed. The Xeron's sensors must have picked up the confidence in her voice. For a moment, the alien fleet hesitated, as though uncertain how to respond. Then one of their ships released a probodart of pure energy hurtling toward the Aurora. Evasive maneuvers, Elena commanded. The crew reacted instantly. The Aurora twisted and shifted through the void, its thrusters flaring as the probe streaked past. It exploded harmlessly behind the ship, leaving a trail of shimmering light. The bridge crew exhaled, but the tension remained. They didn't expect us to dodge, Rami said quietly. They assumed fear would be enough. But humans are different, Lena nodded, her mind calculating. The Xerons were powerful, but predictable in their overconfidence. They had underestimated the very thing that made humans dangerous: creativity, adaptability, and courage in the face of impossible odds. Prepare the main plasma array, she ordered. We may need to show them that we're not just a single ship they're underestimating us. The Aurora's engines hummed deeper, powering the massive plasma cannon at the bow. Unlike alien weapons, which relied on raw energy output, the human array was precise, versatile, and deadly. It could deliver a focused strike capable of piercing even the strongest alien shields if fired with accuracy and timing. On the holographic display, the Xerons were closing in. Their ships glowed brighter, weapons charging, energy flowing in patterns that suggested synchronization across the fleet. Elena knew that a single misstep could mean disaster, yet hesitation was not an option. Humans thrived on calculated risk. Her crew had been trained for this moment. Divert targeting systems to flank coordinates, she said. We'll make them regret underestimating us. Rami's fingers danced across the console, and the ship's targeting matrix recalibrated. The Aurora's strategy was simple: appear vulnerable, then strike with precision at their weakest points. It was a tactic humans had used for centuries, whether on land, sea, or in space. The Xerons, so reliant on brute force and overwhelming numbers, had not prepared for deception, Captain, the communications officer said. They're attempting another transmission. The voice came again, this time tinged with a hint of curiosity, almost disbelief. Human, your defenses are unexpected. Surrender now, or be destroyed. Lena exchanged a glance with Rami. The alien tone suggested surprise. Good. Humans had already begun to unbalance them. Response: we are prepared to defend ourselves. Your assumption that we are weak is incorrect. Humanity does not surrender. The Xerons seemed to hesitate, scanning the ship, as if recalculating their attack. Elena knew their hesitation was brief. Advanced species rarely pause for long. But in those moments, the Aurora had the chance to demonstrate the truth of human power. Main plasma array charged, Rami said, a hint of pride in his voice. We're ready to fire on your mark, Captain. Lena studied the alien formation. She noticed patterns in their fleet, small gaps where their ship's energy flows intersected imperfectly. No matter how advanced they were, no system was flawless. She saw her opening. Target the two ships on the left flank, she said. Focus all plasma energy. Time it with our evasion thrusters. We hit and we move, then reassess. The crew executed flawlessly. The Aurora's plasma cannon flared, releasing a concentrated beam of energy that tore through the gap in the Xeron formation. Two alien ships were struck, their hulls rupturing under the precise human fire. The explosion was dazzling. It's a bright bloom of alien metal and energy that lit the darkness. On the bridge, the crew erupted in quiet cheers, though their focus remained sharp. The Xerons, stunned, pulled back slightly, scanning the aftermath. They didn't expect that, Rami said. The plasma array. It was too precise. Too fast for their calculations. Lena allowed herself a small smile. Humans had a long history of innovation and unpredictability. The Xerons had assumed numbers alone would win the encounter. But humans had something the aliens had not accounted for. Imagination applied to survival and combat. Keep shields at maximum. Monitor all energy flows, Alina instructed. We don't know if this is their full strength yet. The alien fleet shifted, their movements slower, more cautious. They were no longer aggressive, they were trying to understand, to adapt. But they had underestimated humans. An underestimation could be fatal. Captain, the communications officer said, they're sending a new message. It's not a threat this time. It sounds surprised. Alina raised an eyebrow. Curiosity and caution. This was the first sign of respect from the Zerans. Transmit, we seek understanding as well as peace. But we will defend ourselves if necessary, Alina said. The bridge went quiet. Each crew member aware of the historic moment. The human battleship had faced a fleet thought to be superior and had survived. And even impressed the aliens. Outside, the void of space seemed to shimmer differently. The Zeron ships glowed faintly, as if recognizing the human capacity for resilience and ingenuity. The first encounter was over. But the story of humans in this sector had only just begun. Alina allowed herself a moment to breathe. We've made an impression, she said softly. But the real challenge is yet to come. This was only the first encounter. We need to be ready for whatever they try next. Rami nodded. They'll be thinking now, Captain. And humans. Humans always have a plan for what comes next. The Aurora glided through space, shields shimmering, engines humming, a symbol of humanity's courage and determination. Outside, the Zyran fleet lingered, curious and cautious. Both species now understood that first impressions could change everything. The universe was watching. Humanity had made its mark, and in the quiet, calculated power of a single battleship, the Zerans learned a truth they had never expected. Humans were far stronger, smarter, and more resilient than they had imagined. As the stars stretched into the distance, Captain Alina Riva stood at the bridge, her eyes shining with quiet determination. She knew this was only the beginning. Humanity would not be underestimated again. The tension on the Aurora's bridge was nearly tangible. The Zyran fleet, shaken by the precision of human attacks, now approached with calculated caution. Captain Alina Riva stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the holographic display flicker with alien ship movements. Each vessel seemed to think independently, yet moved with almost perfect coordination. The challenge was clear. One mistake could be catastrophic. But the humans had faced impossible odds before. Captain Lieutenant Rami Patel reported, "They're reorganizing. Looks like they're preparing for a full assault. Shields and weapons at maximum. They're not holding back this time." Alina's eyes narrowed. Humans thrived on strategy. This was the moment to turn caution into advantage. "Prepare the flanking sensors," she ordered. "We'll let them think they're attacking the weakest point and then we hit where they least expect." The crew moved like a well-oiled machine. Every console hummed with activity as the Aurora's systems adjusted to the incoming attack. The alien fleet's energy signatures grew brighter, a sign that their weapons were charging. In human terms, they were ready to strike. In Zeran terms, they assumed the humans would panic under pressure. "They were wrong, Captain," the communications officer said. "They're sending another message. It seems more cautious this time." Lena leaned forward. "Read it, human vessel. Your resilience is notable. Submit now to avoid destruction." Alina let out a quiet laugh. "Notable. That's what they call it when their plans fail." She straightened. Response: "We defend ourselves. Humanity does not surrender." The Zeron's pause lasted only a heartbeat before energy beams erupted from their fleet. The first wave of fire swept across the void toward the Aurora. The human battleship twisted, the shields flaring with brilliant light as they absorbed the impact. Sparks of alien energy danced harmlessly across the hull, leaving streaks of glowing blue in the darkness. "Evasive pattern, Delta 3, Alina commanded. "Keep moving." The Aurora surged forward, dodging the brunt of the attack. Behind her, the plasma array hummed, charging for a counterstrike. She was small compared to the fleet, but she was fast, clever, and deadly. The Zirans' numerical advantage meant little against a ship that could anticipate their movements and strike with surgical precision. "Captain," Rami said, "their left flank is overextended. If we target it, we can break their formation." Elena's mind raced. It was a risk if the maneuver failed. The fleet could surround them. But human ingenuity had never been built for playing it safe. Divert power to weapons and thrusters. Target their left flank and hit hard. Move immediately after impact. The crew executed the plan flawlessly. The Aurora's plasma cannon flared, sending a concentrated beam slicing through the overextended Ziran ships. One vessel erupted in a brilliant explosion, sending shards of alien metal spinning into the void. Another shuddered under the strike, forced to retreat. On the holographic display, the rest of the Ziran fleet paused, assessing the unexpected loss. Their calm precision wavered. They had assumed humans could not match their technology. "They were wrong, Captain," the weapons officer said. "The plasma cannon can fire again in 60 seconds. If we time it with evasive maneuvers, we can hit 2 more ships before they recover." Alina nodded. "Do it. This is the moment we show them why humans survive against all odds." The Aurora twisted through space, shields flaring as another wave of alien energy swept past. The crew held steady, executing maneuvers that would have been impossible for a less trained crew. Then, at precisely the right moment, the plasma cannon fired again. 2 more Ziran ships were destroyed in quick succession, their explosions casting a brilliant light across the darkness of space. The Zirans faltered. Their formation broke slightly, ships moving to compensate for the losses. Human strategy had created chaos within their ranks. They had expected compliance, or at least hesitation. Instead, they found intelligence, precision, and courage. "Captain," Rami said, voice tight with excitement, "they're slowing down. They're assessing us. They might not expect the next move." Lena allowed herself a small smile. "Then let's give them another surprise. Divert auxiliary power to the shields, maintain speed, and prepare a feint. Draw them in." The crew carried out the orders with precision. The Aurora appeared to pull back, seemingly retreating. The Zirans advanced, interpreting the movement as a sign of weakness. That was exactly what the humans wanted, as the alien ships closed in. The Aurora executed a sudden turn, weaving through the formation. The plasma cannon fired once more, striking the center of the Ziran flank. Ships collided in the explosion, forcing others to scatter to avoid the chaos. The humans' gamble had paid off. "Status report," Alina demanded. "Ziran fleet disorganized," Rami replied. "They're trying to re-establish formation, but our attacks have caused confusion. Shields holding at 97%. Weapons ready for another strike." Lena took a deep breath. This is what humans do best. We take the unexpected, turn it into advantage, and never give up. Keep the pressure on. Every move counts. The Zirans were stunned. For the first time, they realized that humans were not merely resilient, they were unpredictable. Their strategies based on control and overwhelming force faltered against the ingenuity of a single battleship. Captain Communications Officer said, "They're sending another transmission. This one, it sounds almost admiring." Alina raised an eyebrow. "Read it, human. Your tactics, your courage, it is remarkable. We did not anticipate such resistance." A murmur spread across the bridge. The aliens were acknowledging human strength, something rare and almost unheard of. Alina allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humans had not only survived, they had impressed a species that had thought itself superior. "Prepare for continued engagement," she said. "They may attempt to regroup, but we've already shown them what humans are capable of. Stay focused." The Aurora surged forward once more, shields glowing, weapons ready. Outside, the void of space was a battlefield of light and energy, each maneuver calculated, each strike deliberate. The humans were small in number, but large in impact. Each movement demonstrated strategy, courage, and the brilliance of human ingenuity. The Zirans, for all their advanced technology, were forced to respect the human ship. Their assumptions of weakness had been shattered. Every alien ship that advanced too quickly was met with a precise, human counterattack. Every formation they tried to impose was disrupted by clever maneuvering. Humanity had turned a single battleship into a force greater than the sum of its parts. "Captain," Rami said, they're retreating slightly. "It seems they need to rethink their approach. They've never faced a species like us." Lena nodded. "Good. Let them reconsider. Humans are never easily defeated, and we fight best when we adapt. Maintain position, shields high, weapons ready. We are not finished yet." As the Aurora floated in the void, the human crew reflected on the battle. They had survived against overwhelming odds, and their strategy had disrupted the Zyran fleet. Each crew member knew that this encounter would be remembered, not just by humans, but by the aliens as well. Outside, the Zirons observed, calculating, adapting, and slowly understanding a truth that many civilizations learned too late. Humans were not to be underestimated. A single battleship, one ship with clever tactics, courage, and precise firepower, had challenged an entire alien fleet. Alina took a moment to look out the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the clash. She felt the weight of responsibility, but also a sense of pride. Humanity had faced the unknown, and had not only survived, had triumphed through intellect, courage, and unity. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The universe will know what humans can do, and we will continue to rise, no matter the challenge." The crew of the Aurora stood ready. Their shields pulsed with light, their weapons charged, their spirits unbroken. They had proven that, even against superior numbers and unknown technology, human ingenuity and courage were forces to be reckoned with. In the vast emptiness of space, a single human battleship had changed the way an entire species viewed humanity. The clash had ended for now, but the war for respect, understanding, and survival in the cosmos was only beginning. And Captain Alina Rivas knew, with absolute certainty, that humans would continue to astonish any who underestimated them. The Ninth Fleet, guided by the Earth's expedition, finally emerged from the void. The stars returned to their familiar positions, and the strange distortions that had haunted them for weeks began to fade. Human crews looked out at the vast expanse of space, feeling both relief and awe. They had survived the impossible, proving that courage, ingenuity, and cooperation could overcome even the most incomprehensible forces. Captain Elara Voss stood on the bridge of Intrepid Dawn, watching the Earth fleet ahead. She allowed herself a small smile. "We are coming home," she said quietly. Commander Yolan Corvée nodded. "And humanity has proven once again that we never give up. That is why we endure." The fleets moved together, careful but steady, through the final region of distorted space. Drones had mapped a safe path, but the humans remained vigilant. Every ship was monitored constantly, every signal analyzed for anomalies. Lieutenant Mara Chen, monitoring communications, noticed faint signals in the distance. "Captain, sensors are picking up something unusual ahead. Not dangerous, different. It's almost like a gateway." Lara's eyes narrowed. "A gateway?" "Yes," Mara confirmed. "The energy readings suggest a structure artificial stable. It seems connected to the anomaly, but not threatening. Maybe a passage back to normal space." Alara called the fleet's officers together. "This is it," she said. "Whatever is out there, it wants us to leave her. Maybe it wants us to see it. Stay alert, but be ready. We have come this far because we adapted, learned, and survived. That is humanity. Let us finish this journey with the same courage." The fleet approached the gateway carefully. The shimmering structure seemed to ripple in space, a silent doorway between the void and familiar cosmos. Ships passed through one by one, following precise instructions. The first vessels emerged safely, and soon the Ninth Fleet was reunited, restored to normal space. Cheers echoed through the ships, not loud and reckless, but heartfelt. Humans embraced, shared relieved smiles, and thanked the Earth's expedition. Humanity had faced the unknown, and had not only survived, but demonstrated its unique strength as the fleets regrouped. Captain Alara called a meeting. "We have survived the anomaly," she said. "We have endured challenges that no other species may ever face. Our technology, our courage, and our ingenuity have guided us through. And now we return to Earth as a testament to human resilience." Commander Yalan Korv added, "We learned much, Captain. The anomaly, whatever it was, observed us. And in our perseverance, in our creativity, we proved ourselves worthy of survival. Humanity's spirit is unmatched." Dr. Lena Asher, observing the fleet from Earth, felt a sense of pride unlike any she had known. "They did it," she whispered. "We warned them. We guided them. And they endured." Humanity has shown its value not just to the stars, but to itself. The mystery of the anomaly remained partially unsolved, but that did not diminish the achievement. Scientists analyzed the energy readings, comparing them with human responses. It became clear that the anomaly was an ancient intelligence, observing all who entered its region. It had tested the Ninth Fleet and the Earth's expedition, measuring adaptability, courage, and ingenuity. Admiral Kiran Thales, addressing the council, said, "We have witnessed human excellence. The Ninth Fleet returned because of the qualities that define us: intelligence, resourcefulness, and determination. We can no longer dismiss Earth or underestimate human capability." The public celebrated humanity's triumph. The return of the Ninth Fleet inspired generations, not only for the survival of explorers, but for the demonstration of what humans could achieve in the face of the unknown. Across Earth and its colonies, children and adults alike looked to the stars with new hope and courage. Captain Myra Solis, leader of the Earth's expedition, spoke to her fleet. "We did more than rescue ships. We prove that humans adapt when confronted with the impossible. We innovate when faced with challenges no one else can solve. We endure, and that is why we will continue to explore, to discover, and to thrive among the stars." On board Intrepid Dawn, Captain Alara Voss reflected on the journey. She thought of the ships that had disappeared and the crews who had faced the void. She thought of the intelligence that had tested them, and of the courage that had guided them through every challenge. Humanity had survived not because of superior technology alone, but because of the human spirit. "We leave the void behind," she said quietly to Yalan Korv, "but its lessons remain. Never forget what we are capable of when we work together, when we think, adapt, and endure." Yalan nodded. "Humanity is stronger than any unknown, Captain. That is what we have proven." As the fleets approached Earth, signals from orbital stations brightened. Families awaited the return of their loved ones. Scientists, engineers, and leaders prepared to welcome back the heroes who had ventured into the darkest reaches of space and returned. Triumphant, the Ninth Fleet docked safely. Ships were secured, and crew members were reunited with their families and colleagues. Debriefings were conducted, and data from the void was shared with scientists across Earth and its colonies. Humanity now had knowledge of anomalies and intelligence beyond their previous. "Undrentezi," Dr. Lena Asher addressed the reunited crews. "You have returned not only as survivors but as pioneers. Humanity has faced the unknown and endured. The Ninth Fleet has shown the galaxy that humans do not back down. We adapt, we create, and we survive. That is our strength. That is what makes us human." Captain Alara Voss looked out at Earth from the observation deck of Intrepid Dawn. The planet gleamed with life and possibility. She thought of the darkness of the void, the intelligence that had watched them, and the courage of her crew. "We have returned," she whispered, "but our journey continues. Humanity will continue to reach for the stars. We endure because that is what we do. We survive, we learn, and we thrive. And nothing, no unknown, no void can stop us." The Council, humbled and inspired, pledged to recognize Earth's contributions to the galaxy and to respect human ingenuity. Policies were revised. Humanity's role as explorers and innovators was acknowledged in a way it never had been before. The story of the Ninth Fleet became a symbol across human colonies, a tale of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. It was a reminder that no matter how vast the unknown, humanity's determination could light the darkest reaches of space And in the void, far beyond human sensors, the intelligence that had tested the fleets observed silently. Perhaps it understood in some way that the species it had watched was extraordinary. Humanity had survived not through strength alone, but through creativity, courage, unity qualities no force could extinguish. Captain Alara Voss turned from the observation deck. She faced her crew, her officers, and the Earth's expedition. "We have learned much," she said, "and we will continue to learn. Humanity endures, humanity adapts, and humanity thrives. That is why, no matter the darkness ahead, we will always reach for the stars." The Ninth Fleet Earth Expedition, and all who had participated in the rescue mission celebrated quietly but proudly. Humanity had faced the unknown, endured its trials, and returned stronger. The void had tested them. But humans had proven themselves adaptable, intelligent, and courageous. And as the stars shone brightly above, it was clear to everyone who looked up that humanity's story was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, but humanity was ready. Humans would continue to explore, to discover, and to thrive. They would endure because that was their nature. The Ninth Fleet had vanished once, but humanity had returned. Victorious, wiser, and more determined than ever. The universe had witnessed the power of the human spirit, and nothing would ever be the same again.